Hey there, DFS players. It's your boy Manny here once again. Welcome to DFS Zone, your source for daily fantasy sports lineups for the NFL, NBA, and MLB. And before I continue any further with the video, guys, I would appreciate a like on the video. And if you're new to the channel, please subscribe. And don't forget to turn on your notifications so this way you don't miss any of my new uploads. Well, today we have a 8-game slate. Today is March the 19th. A number of good games on tonight. I mean, it's going to be interesting to go back and forth for my league pass, which I enjoy nights like this when you have games like LA and Indiana, Charlotte, Philadelphia, Milwaukee at Cleveland. The Chicago-New York game is going to be a little bit back and forth. Denver, Miami should be an interesting game. Golden State playing at San Antonio. It's a lot of interesting games tonight, a lot of games that'll be nice to take a look at. I am going to give you the stud 5 right now. It's actually a quick look at what everything looks like right now. I may make some changes because there's a number of people that I see that are very interesting to play tonight. But if I do make any changes, I will be up. I will definitely tweet it out later on Twitter about an hour before tip-off. You can catch me at Manny at DFS_zone. And if any changes have been made, I will definitely send out a tweet later on today. First guy, let's just dive right into this already. Point guard is one of the spots today that I like. I like Mr. Bledsoe. That's the first stud. Eric is in a good position here because Cleveland is one of the weaker, one of the worst teams in the league defending the point. And not only that, Eric has done well against Cleveland. Previously, he has had what we have here. Bledsoe has had 2 40-plus games against Cleveland over the last 3 times they put him. He put 38, 46, and 48.40 in the last 3 games against Cleveland, and he's had 2 40-plus games now just as of recent back-to-back. So he's starting to get his groove back after 3 or 4 games where he was undervalued. Now all of a sudden he has match value, smash value a couple of times. So he's doing very well. You need about 40 points or more from him today at his value of 8K. I think he'll be able to do that. Cleveland, this game should be interesting, and I think Bledsoe as well as Giannis are going to have to perform, as well as Middleton, their top 3 dogs. Cleveland definitely struggles against point guards, and they also struggle mightily against forwards, the small forward position as well as the power forward position. So it might be a great game for Giannis as well. I'm not on Giannis today simply because of the price. Maybe if I could squeeze him in and I can find value after I really evaluate this slate, maybe I'll throw in Giannis. I'll prefer Giannis today. If anything, if you're going to go with a stud today, probably Giannis over James. Just simply because Cleveland definitely has poor outings against small forwards. But let's continue here with the stud 5. So we got Eric Bledsoe. My next stud will be Mr. Dragic. I like Goran here today against Denver. He has done well against Denver as well. Denver is very poor. He has had 3 games. The 3 last games against Denver, he's put up 42-20, 29-40, and 32+ points. And not only that, Denver is like 26th, 27th in the league. They're really in the bottom half of the league as far as defending the point. I think he's in a good matchup here. Plus, he's also at home, and Miami's very tough at home. And if I was going to choose either one, him or Murray, in a matchup like this, I would definitely like Dragic better. So, I would say he's in a good spot, guys, here. If you're interested, definitely take Mr. Dragic, pencil him in at 6,700. He's in a good spot against Denver at home. I like Mr. Dragic. My third stud is Timmy Hardaway Jr. for the Knicks, 6,300. He's at home. He's had 2 good games in a row as of late, and he's had his last game against the Chicago Bulls. He put up about a 30 spot, so he's in a good spot here. 6,300. He's going to need to take some shots. Not only that, there's no Zach LaVine to defend against him, even though LaVine is not the greatest defender. Chicago is one of the poorest teams also defending against any guards, point guards or shooting guards. That's one of the main reasons why I'm selecting him today. That's one of the studs. I think he's going to have a great game for New York, and he's going to need to if they're going to win this game, because Chicago is one of those gritty, scrappy teams as well. They play fairly hard almost every single time. Their strongest points are definitely their front guys, the 3 and the 4. but they're definitely weak defensively against point guards and shooting guards. So I kind of like Timmy here. Pencil him in. He's a good spot. I'm going to definitely go over a couple of other possible value plays and other guys that you may consider, but I think Timmy Hardaway is in a good spot here, and I would say pencil him in. My next stud for today will be Mr. Kyle Kuzma. We already know that Mr. Ingram is out. Well, Kyle is doing what now? He's more than likely probable. I think he's going to play tonight. I mean, at the moment, it's game time decision, so definitely, stay on top of the injury report with him. But if he is playing, I think he's definitely a good play today. With no Brandon Ingram still out, he's going to get a bulk of the shots. He's going to get a lot of minutes on the floor. He's one of the younger guys here. And not only that, this is a fast-paced game, kind of game LA likes to play, and Indiana is willing to play that same game as well. It should be interesting. I think Kyle is a great play here today, guys. At 6,200, I see Mr. Kyle Kuzma putting up 35 plus here easily in this game. My fifth stud for today is going to be Mr. Jokic. Mr. Jokic, I am never, this guy, if anybody's listened to me several times, I love this guy. He's in a good matchup here. Simply, Miami is a good defending team, but they don't have no Whiteside today. And even this game, and the other reason I like Jokic here is that this game I think is going to stay close. Miami's tough at home, Denver is a fast-paced type of team. Miami's going to slow them down, and I think Mr. Jokic is going to have to, really put up some serious numbers today. And he has an advantage because he doesn't have to deal with Whiteside. Even though they will put Adebayo on him, I don't think this guy can hold him. I mean, Jokic can do it all. I mean, as you all know, he can put balls back in. He can shoot the three. He can shoot from anywhere in the perimeter. He's a great free throw shooter. He's a great rebounder. He's also a great passer. I mean, to me, like I've said before in previous videos, he is the best center in the league, at least to me, as far as, what we call a stud. As far as handling everything on the court, this guy can do it all. So I think Jokic today is in a good spot. I expect him to put up 50 plus here against Miami. There are some notable guys that I would consider today, like going back to the point guard position. There's a couple guys that are interesting today, like the New York Knicks backcourt of Moutier or Burke, either or. Maybe leaning more towards Burke because he's been playing better than Moutier. But those guys at 5, of a value of 5K, I believe it is. Yeah, Moutier and Burke, they're right pretty much near each other. Burke at 5, Moutier at 5-1. This is a good spot for them. Normally Chicago is not good at all against the point guard position. These guys may have an opportunity to put 25 or better tonight at that value of 5K. I could see either one of them getting 25 or better today. If I was to have a choice, I would say Burke, simply because he's just playing a little bit better, but Moutier is more than capable of getting that done too. Two other guys, actually 3 other guys that I like here at point guard, and they'll probably be on some of my lineups, are Mr. Darren Collison is in a good spot against the Lakers. As you know, the Lakers and Indiana, it's probably going to be a fast-paced game. Collison has come back and has now, I think, played the last 2 or 3 games. He's put up 20 somewhat minutes. Yes, he has. 24, 21, 28, and 26 minutes. His numbers are not quite there yet, but he did have 33-point game 2 games ago against Toronto. I see him getting, a little bit more minutes today, maybe closer to the 30-minute mark. I see slowly but surely he's starting to get back into the starting rotation. But this is definitely a good spot for him, simply for the fast-paced game. De'Aaron Fox against Detroit, simply because Detroit is not the best against point guards as well. He has not been, as consistent, but as you can see here, he actually has done okay. 30 minutes, 33, 35. He had a little dud here, a little less minutes there. Probably had a struggling game, maybe had some fouls or something. Put him out there. He only got 7.2 there, and then he had a 27-minute game, put up almost 1 point a minute. So he's capable. He has a good upside. He can put up 35. At this price, I think he's in a good spot as well. So you may consider Mr. Fox. I would think out of everybody else, not anybody else that really comes to mind. I think a sleeper here would be Mr. Jennings, who Most recently, he signed by Milwaukee and had a crazy 23-minute, 41-point game his first time out. He has 17 minutes in his previous game. He put up 17 points. The thing about him is that he's one of these like a Corey Brewer, up and down the court, very explosive. Makes the game move a little quicker. He loves to go. This is a good spot for him against Cleveland, simply because, again, Cleveland is not good against the point guard position. If Milwaukee gives him a little time there, just in case Bledsoe struggles, Mr. Jennings might be a good play here. If you're not interested in putting up 8 for Eric, why not go with Brandon? So it's an option there. It's a good value player. I think it's like a little sleeper play. I'll probably throw him in a lineup there today. At 3,800, I mean, it's worth it. I mean, he's got to only put up like 15, 16 points, and I think he could definitely do that. So let's move on to shooting guard. Evans, good spot against Brooklyn. As you know, Brooklyn is not that good defensively against the point guard, against pretty much every position they suffer with. I think they suffer the most against centers. Middleton, D'Angelo Russell, another one in a good spot. I think he's had the last 2 games he's put up 29 plus, so he's doing okay. I think he's in a good spot there. Buddy Hield, I think this is a good play here too. Buddy, his price has gone up to 6,400. He is at home, and I think Buddy, what he's had here, so he's had his last 3 games. Yeah, he's been a little bit of a tear. I think he's put up 40, 30 somewhat points. So let's see what we got here. Yeah, he's put up 44, 36, and 40 his last 3 games, between a span of 28 to 31 minutes. I mean, look at the points, rebounds, assists. Kind of balance out a little bit. He does get a couple blocks here and there. He does definitely get some steals. He's been playing really, really well as of late. He put 44 against Miami and Utah, which are pretty good defensive teams. So, he's a good play tonight, shooting guard. I like him there as well. He may be in some of my lineups there. Looking down this list, maybe Mr. Monk, simply because there's no Batum, and Monk might get some time on the court. Let's see if he's played any. Yeah, he did get 23 minutes against New York, and he put up 23 points. So that's 1 point per minute. So when you think of Charlotte here without no Batum, you're looking at Monk getting some more playing time, and you're looking for more shots and more time for Mr. Jeremy Lamb, who normally plays shooting guard, but he will probably. He's on Fanduel here. He's definitely on Fanduel here. He's on the small forward side. $4,800 for Jeremy. I think Jeremy's another good play for tonight again for Charlotte, because of the fact is that Mr. Batum is out. He put 19 minutes, 25 and 23. He did have a 31-point game against New Orleans. That's going to go up. He's going to definitely play about 25 minutes to 30 minutes possibly tonight or for the next couple of games, simply because Nicholas Batum is out. So those are 2 guys you can look at. Lamb, because of the injury to Batum, getting more time on the court, as well as he's going to just get more shots off. He's going to have more opportunity to score. And of course, Mr. Monk. Let's see, small forward. Is there anybody else here interesting? Mr. Beasley's in a good spot here against Chicago. I think Bees is in a good spot, so he's a possible play there. Consider Beasley. Let me see what he's done. He's put a 41. He put 45 up in his last game against Chicago. Looking on here, so 45. So in Chicago being 27th against a small forward. I mean, man, this is definitely a good spot for Beasley at 5,700. I mean, you could throw him in there as well. So you got a small forward there that is in a good spot, as well as, like I said, Jeremy Lamb. So I'm looking at Beasley and Lamb right now. Comes off as nice value plays with those price ranges. I mean, at 48 and 50. Michael Beasley's at 57, so you figure mid-tier. Not a bad price. I think he has definitely the potential to put up 35 or better there tonight. And I think that's all I see here that I like. Maybe Josh Richardson against Denver. But yeah, I will say that the plays here, small forward, are Beasley and Jeremy Lamb. We go to power forward. Of course, I like Kuzma tonight. You could, maybe Dario Saric, in Charlotte, because of Marvin Williams being a poor defender. I would say also, Maybe, possibly Thaddeus Young might have a good game against the Lakers. The Lakers, it's a fast-paced game, and we're going to need some guys to. Let me see this game here for a moment. Yeah, Turner. Brook Lopez. Brook Lopez is in a good spot here. We'll touch up on that at center. He's got a game-time decision here for both Turner and Lopez. If Turner ends up being out and Lopez ends up playing, a nice little play here would be Lopez as a mid-tier center against Indiana. I kind of like Lopez. He's been playing really, really well. Outstanding. I'm not too fond of too many of the power forwards here tonight. If there's anybody that has a strong advantage, Simmons is in a good spot as a stud with 9,700. You could play him if you could get value somewhere else. Darius Saric is in a good spot against Charlotte because of who's defending him. I would say also Thaddeus Young. I like Thaddeus there. And maybe even James Johnson against Denver at Miami. That's a good spot. And you can never fall asleep on Jordan Bell or Kaminsky. So you got a couple guys there that you can definitely build around these five guys that I gave you. At center, I always love Jokic. Just Drummond's in a good spot against Sacramento. There ain't really anybody there. Cauley Stein is not strong enough to defend against him. And even if they bring in Krufos, he's not going to be able to do nothing. And then, of course, if you got both of them on the court, Griffin, Scal is a good player, but I just don't see it here. If you don't go with Drummond, you could definitely go with Blake here. I think Detroit, either one of these two guys are going to go off today. I wouldn't even be surprised if both go off, and Blake Griffin as well as Drummond. So, it's those they're two guys that you can consider. But let's focus on the center spot. Drummond, Marc Gasol, good spot. We hate to always, destroy, really just be killing Brooklyn, but Brooklyn really cannot defend any centers. The only problem with this is that, I don't see a major problem here. Brooklyn may possibly even win this game, but this may be an interesting game. This may be a game that may stay close. And if it stays close, that means Mr. Gasol is going to be on the court. He may have a 40-plus game here. I can see it. So he's someone to consider simply because of the matchup. Howard, Philadelphia, tough matchup for him because Embiid is not, he's not, a dominant defender, but he's a good defender. He'll at least defend, and he's going to compete, and he's going to want to try to block Howard and all that. So this is going to be one of those games where these guys are both going to try to block one another and defend and work and play really hard. But I still would prefer Embiid here over Howard in this position. I'm not either one of those two guys tonight. On this mid-tier, I like Brook Lopez if he does play against Turner. Enes Kanter's in a good spot against Chicago. Let's look at Chicago. Felicio, I don't know. No Robin Lopez. I just don't see it. I think Kanter is in a good spot here. If he plays and he does well, he doesn't get into foul trouble, I could see Enes Kanter playing, 25 to 30 minutes in this game, especially if it stays close, and I think it will be a game that is just going to be a crazy shootout because New York has come to a point now where they're just playing just to play, and they basically are running and shooting and just basically trying to outscore the teams that really are not a defending team. So I see this game being in the 110 to 115 range between the two teams, with one of them pulling it out. Other than that, any lower value guys? Maybe Kyle O'Quinn if you don't want Kanter, but I just don't see anybody else. I think those are the best plays. If you can go with Kanter or Brook Lopez just to save, if you're going to go with the studs, I would say Jokic or Drummond, and I think that you'll be all right. That's basically it, guys. That is the stud five of the day: Bledsoe, Dragic, Tim Hardaway Jr., Kyle Kuzma, and Nikola Jokic. Those are the stud five. If anything changes, I'll hit everybody up on Twitter at around 5:45 or 6 o'clock with an updated stud five. If not, I probably will still tweet it out and give you the same five guys again. If I feel that I'm going to go definitely with these five guys, I will definitely leave it just like that and still tweet it out. and maybe even do a quick video on YouTube again and get it out there to you guys. And that's basically it. I mean, you got 5,700 to work around there. I saw a number of value plays which I have recommended to you guys. So I mean, you can build and pick and choose among the ones that I mentioned, as well as you can actually, switch a couple of these guys up with some of those other guys. And if you want to throw in a stud, I would say the best stud tonight would be Giannis or James, who are playing against each other. But I would say because of the value being just a little bit cheaper, I would probably go with Giannis over LeBron, simply because statistically Cleveland has not done well against small forwards, and Giannis has definitely have tore up Cleveland before. I think he's scored pretty much 45, 50 points pretty much in every game against them, against Cleveland. So, I mean, actually looking at real quickly at 58, 59, and 65 in his last 3 games against Cleveland. So I would say that's a good lock to play Giannis if you want to play a stud. And that's basically it, guys. So I mean, hey, like the video, subscribe if you haven't subscribed yet, and you can always reach me out at Twitter, any comments or anything you want to speak to me about, anything you want to know about any other slates or anything like that. You can hit me on Twitter at Manny at DFS _zone, or you can hit me up on my Instagram at DFS Zone. Alright, I wish everybody a lot of luck tonight, and I'll be back with the updated Stud 5 if there's any changes later on this evening at Twitter. Alright, peace out.